Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. Today we are going to be working on part 2 and the final part to our Christmas journal series, and today I'm going to be showing you how we are going to decorate this full journal. So as always, we will have all of the kits linked down below as well as any relevant tutorials. So let's go ahead and get started here. So if you are new to our channel, welcome firstly, and second, we have actually been making a whole bunch of Christmas crafts this entire month and a half past. So all of these projects that you see right here have been done on the channel before, and I've put them all into a Christmas crafting playlist, and I'm just going to link that down below. So if you want to go through that playlist and make any of these pieces that you see here, that would be my first recommendation, since these are going to be kind of the base of what I use to decorate our journal, and that's sort of going to be a theme going on with this channel. Whenever I make a journal, I will probably be using projects that we have made on our YouTube channel in the past month or so before making the journal. So again, this is optional. You don't have to use these projects, but if you want to follow along with what I'm doing today, I will have that playlist down below in case you are interested. I do also have just one or two pieces like this one here that's from a long time ago, so it won't be in that playlist, but I will talk through those projects when we come to it. Alright, but besides those projects, I'm also going to be using some scraps that I have from several of those projects. So this is from the Simply Christmas Journal Kit and the Simply Christmas Journal Kit add-on. So both of those kits came with lots of different ephemera and pieces, and I just went ahead and put them in a folder. And since I haven't used them on any projects yet, I will be using them in this journal today. So you will see scraps from that kit as well as the Gnomes, the Christmas Gnomes journal kit. So you can use whatever kits you have on hand, but these are the ones I will be using to decorate today. So let's go ahead and get started with our very first page. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those loaded Christmas tags that we made, and this will be down in the corner of that page. And then going over this ephemera piece with a little bit of distress ink from the Simply Christmas add-on kit, and setting it aside and taking a lace doily here, I'm just going to trace the corner of the page with a fingernail, and that's going to give me sort of a guide for where to cut on the lace doily here. So I will just go ahead and take some scissors and cut that corner out and go over it with a little bit of distress ink, and then glue that down in the corner a little bit behind the tag, so that I have some layering going on. And I would have rounded the corner of the doily if I'd thought about it, so that's just something I'm going to mention now real fast. And then go ahead and glue down your tag, and then taking that ephemera piece and gluing that on top, sort of overlapping the tag corner and the doily. Just like that. And now I'm going to take some of the journal words from the Simply Christmas kit and go over that with some vintage photo distress ink. And I'm going to cut them to fit in between the red stripes on this little piece of ribbon I have, just to give them a small border. And I'm going to be gluing those down in the upper left corner, so sort of at a diagonal angle, just kind of cutting everything down to fit. Again, I didn't measure. These are probably 2 inches long, maybe. Just kind of eyeballed what I liked. Alright, and going to finish the page off by adding a little bit of this Brilliance gold ink here, and I'm going to put that all around the edges, as well as going over the pages of the journal, sort of last minute decision here, just to give them a little bit of shimmer. Again, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's really pretty in person. Alright, there you go. That is going to finish that page. Alright, flipping to the second page here, I'm going to grab this little tag from the Simply Christmas add-on kit, and we are going to be decorating this. So I didn't want the white background here, so I'm just going to add this little tag in here with this Christmas tree on it to kind of cover that up. So just gluing that down. Sort of moving it around to fit in the frame how I like it, and then going over that circle frame part with a little bit of distress ink just to make it look a little more finished. and then gluing the sides and the bottom shut and going over the entire thing with Distress ink. Alright, and to finish this tag here, I went over it with some Distress ink as well, and then added a small like piece of scrap ribbon I had and a brad, and just made like a little pull tab for it. And then again going over the back of that tag with a little bit of Distress ink here. Alright, again this is entirely optional, but I just decided to do it to make it look a little bit more finished. You could add like note paper or something like that, entirely up to you. Alright, and then just tucking that little tag in there. Okay, I'm going in with some ribbon from Save the Date here, and I'm just going to create a little pocket down at the bottom of this page, adding this little label, and I believe this label comes from the Christmas Page Pockets #1 kit, I think. And then also I'm taking a small piece of scrap ribbon and tying it into a little bow to go up in the corner, just gluing everything down, and then grabbing these lists from our Christmas Daily Journal Kit and going over those with some Distress ink and just adding those to the pocket, taking a little bit of red Distress ink here and going over this tag that I got from our antique notebook tags kit, and again I will have that link down below, and then the tab, the little tab comes from the Christmas page pocket as well, and I'm just adding a few tabs to these to make them look a little bit more polished here. And there you go, that finishes that page as well. Alright, so taking a couple of these note cards from the Simply Christmas Journal Kit and adding those to an envelope from that same kit as well, and then we're going to put that envelope inside of another envelope here. And this is just a brown envelope decorated with little stamps and stickers from like our North Pole letters scrap pack and things like that. And I'm just going to add a little glue to the bottom and the sides of that envelope and glue it down to the page here. And that's going to create a little space for our third envelope here that I added a little Christmas tag into, like a little Christmas card. And you can just slide that in between the paper and the brown envelope like this. And I'm putting the tab sort of like of that envelope, the closing letter of that envelope, over the page with a little Velcro sticker like this. So now that envelope can be sort of removed and pulled out like this. And then I've got some of these Christmas specimen cards, and we don't have a tutorial for these exact cards, but we do have a specimen card tutorial, which I will make sure to link down below as well if you are curious on how these are made. And I'm just gonna stick those down with some more of those Velcro dots and then decorate the page using some of these Christmas skinny word tags and some small ephemera pieces from our Jolly Christmas Labels kit at the very bottom, just kind of gluing everything down, going over them with Distress ink, and just kind of layering them in a way that I thought looked kind of pretty. Alright, and now that that page is finished, we can move on to decorating this third one here. So I'm going to be cutting out a label from one of the Christmas Gnome kits and going over that with Distress ink and gluing it down on this page along with one of these loaded Christmas tags here, and just putting that down on the center of the page. And then for the opposite page, I'm adding this little ephemera piece from the Simply Christmas Journal Kit, and I'm just going to tear the top of it and then add some red Distress ink. This is in the color Aged Mahogany, and I'm going to create a little pocket here and just gluing that down. And because it was a little bit long, I decided to just go over that visible edge with some of that gold Distress ink that I have. It's like a gold ink, a shimmery gold ink, and I'll try to find a link for that and link that down below as well. And then just going to glue that down here like this, and I'm going to use that little decorative card that we made earlier and just add a small bookmark in here like this, and there you go. Alright, going on to our next page. I'm going to go around that entire page with that shimmery gold ink. And again, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's really pretty in person. And then we're going to be making this like circular layered pocket here, and for that I just took this ephemera piece from the Christmas Page Pockets #1 kit, and then also some ephemera pieces from the Simply Christmas kit here. And I'm also using a one of those page tabs from the Christmas Page Pockets #1 kit, and a card from those like antique tags, the antique notebook tags kit, going over that with some aged mahogany distress ink. And then I'm going over that circular like centerpiece with the cookie on it with that gold, that shimmery gold ink, and then the part behind it with vintage photo, and then the other circle with that aged mahogany, and this is going to help them sort of stand out from one another. And then adding a lace doily here to the background. I'm just going to cut off any extra that's sticking out, and then gluing these circles down by adding glue just to half of the circle. And for each of these circles, all I did was use like a candle or a jar that was slightly larger than my centerpiece, and just kind of traced around them and cut them out so that they made like a nice layering effect here. And then gluing each of those circles down, again, same way, just putting glue on half of each of the circles so that the top is open, and we can add our little ephemera pieces, which I also go over with some distress ink in various colors. And there you go, you get this cute little layered pocket. Alright, continuing with this little tag from the Christmas Page Pockets #1 kit, and then also some of these pretty snowflake papers that we have available in our shop, and a small like scrap paper that I had laying around. I'm just going to cut out a small rectangle from the snowflake paper and gluing that down with the scrap on top of it. Again, it's just sort of like an uneven random scrap I had. And then the little tag on top of that, going over it with a little bit of distress ink first, and then there you go. Now you've got a little space for writing. Alright, moving on here, I'm just going to make a small decorative piece here using this little label. This is also from the Christmas Page Pockets #1 kit, going over that with some distress ink and rounding the corners, and then taking another scrap from that paper I have and just sort of layering that with that little tag. And I've also got this scrap piece of ribbon from like a failed project, so I will just be using that sort of like a bookmark here, and taking a small fussy cut that I have. These, I think these are from the Jolly Christmas Labels kit. And I'm just going to go ahead and layer these all up, just gluing them down flat, nothing special. You could make them into like a tuck spot or something like that if you want. I just went ahead and kept it simple. Alright, we've got this little faux bookmark here. And alright, that is that page finished. Alright, moving on. I'm going to skip some of these pages here that are already pretty, I think, just kind of on their own, and moving to something a little more blank. And I'm going to take this large tag from the Simply Christmas Journal kit, and I'm just going to cut it in half so I have only the cover, and I'm just going to round the corners, going over it with some distress ink. And I'm just going to glue it flat. Again, you could make this into like a little tuck spot or a pocket or something. I just decided to keep mine simple. And then I'm going to glue down one of those like loaded library Santa Christmas tags that we have. What are those called? Christmas Santa pocket tags, excuse me. And then I'm also going to be taking some of this like coffee dyed notebook paper, and I'm just going to be kind of tearing it into a like general rectangle shape, and then I'm going to do about 3 of those, and taking this label that I cut out from the Christmas Gnomes journal kit. I'm just going to make like a little notebook flip here, so just stapling those pages together, going over them with some distress ink, as well as the label with distress ink. And then I'm going to glue down this little like lacy ribbon piece here. Just make sure that it's low enough that you can still see it underneath the label, which I will glue on top. And I decided to move this to a different page. I just felt like there was too much going on here, so I decided to move it over to a blank page like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down, just adding a little bit of glue to the very top here. And there you go, you've got a little bit of a notebook flip for writing. Back to the striped page, I'm going to add a lace doily here, just cutting it in half and gluing it right up along the edge. And then taking one of those pages from the Christmas Gnome kit, I'm going to cut out this little house scene, and taking the little gingerbread house, I'm going to glue it to the bottom of the page, just along the sides and the bottom of that little piece, to create a pocket. And now we can go ahead and tuck a few things in. I'm just going to grab one of the cards from the Simply Christmas add-on kit, along with some of these little tickets from the same kit. All right, and just flipping through here, if you are curious about this Simply Christmas folio, I do have a tutorial on that, and that will be in our Christmas crafting playlist, so make sure that you check that out if you would like to make that. And for decorating this page, I'm going to take one of these little Christmas cards that I made. We also have a tutorial for this in that same playlist. And I'm going to take another one of those lace doilies and just cut a small corner to fit. This one actually already fit, so I didn't even have to cut it out, but if you would like, that's something you could do. And then I'm going to take some scrap pieces of paper I have, like this little snowflake one, and I'm going to just use the corner of the doily as a guide and sort of cut it to fit, and then tear off the wider edge of that triangle so that you can still see the decorative edge of the lace doily. And then just doing that again with another scrap piece of paper I have so that you can still see some of the red here, and it just makes like a nice little layered effect up in the corner. And we're just going to go ahead and glue everything down, starting with the lace doily and then the other layered papers, cutting off any that might be extra at the top so it's nice and clean, and then gluing that little tag down on top. And I did move the little charm on the corner just so that it didn't get caught in the center of the book. Alright, and then I'm just going to glue down a couple of tags onto our pop-up pages. On the back of them you can kind of see where those little tabs are, so I'm just covering them with a few of our Christmas tags, just gluing those down real quick and simple. And then for this next page, I'm taking some of those tri-layered pockets. I think this one's from Simply Christmas kit. Most of our kits do come with this. And then we're going to go over those with some distress ink and just glue them layer by layer and add a few ephemera pieces. I did take like this bookmark and make it a little bit shorter so that it would fit inside of this pocket here. And this pocket on the right is part of the page pockets, the Christmas page pockets #1 that we sewed in. And then I'm just adding various ephemera, notebook papers, things like that into our pockets just to fill them up nice and simple. And then for this page, we are going to add our ephemera wallet, which I'm going to sort of redecorate here to make it a little more Christmassy. And if you haven't seen the tutorial for this, we just posted it. It was previously only on our Instagram, but I went ahead and shared it on our YouTube channel under our new playlist, Quick Crafting. So Quick Crafts, if you want to see that, I will have that link down below as well. And to make this just a little more Christmassy, I'm just covering up like those little birds with some of that red snowflake paper, and then making a little label here, just cutting this out of one of my spare papers, rounding the corners, going over it with distress ink, you know. And I'm just going to glue that down in the center here and add a couple of these Velcro circles, these little Velcro stickers on the back so that it can stick down to the page and be removable. And then just filling that wallet with some of my Christmas tags and ephemera pieces. You could add like recipe cards or anything you want. And this is a little bit of a thicker piece, so just keep that in mind when you're making your journal. You'll want to use like thinner pieces to fill it, or maybe get a larger spine. Mine was the 2-inch spine. Again, probably should have used the 3-inch spine. Alright, and then just to finish it up, I'm gluing down a couple of my spare cards that I had left over, my little tags, just onto some of the blank pages. And there you go, that is our full Christmas journal, completely decorated and finished. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I hope you had fun and got lots of inspiration. Happy holidays, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye!